All right, I got someone, and it says they're from Houston, Texas, and the last four digits of their phone number is 7618. Who am I speaking with?
Hello, Mitch. This is Beto. Originally from Houston, but now I moved up to Dallas area.
Hey, Beto, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
So I started a year ago with the owner financing. Started joined Owner Finance Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and so I turned three of my previous rentals into owner finance homes.
Yes, sir.
And my CPA this year was kind of giving me a hard time about saying she didn't, because I've been doing wraps around my mortgages,
Mm-hmm.
and so she said she didn't really understand how to do it. So I looked on your resources page, and you have Michael Plax listed there.
Mm-hmm.
Would he be a good CPA to talk to about this? I'm thinking about changing for next year's return based on what.
Well,
Yeah.
it is a different kind of animal, and you do need to find a CPA that understands the intricacies of wrap mortgages and all the different kind of real estate strategies in general.
Yes.
But you got to be careful that the CPA that you get doesn't want to name you as a dealer because you're buying houses and directly seller financing them. If they want to put you in that category, then you got to find someone else that sees it different and has an argument to defend you differently. The fact that you have these as rentals is clear. You're clearly not a dealer, but
Right.
if you team up with and Michael Plax might be one of those guys that if you start owner financing houses right from the get-go, you buy it and then you owner finance it. You buy it and then you owner finance. He may want to classify you as a dealer, which means you're going to have to pay tax on all that phantom money that you made on paper, but you haven't collected yet. And so you don't ever want to be classified as a dealer.
Okay. Or do you know anybody else that I could reach out to?
My CPA, here's the problem with CPAs a lot of times. They're really good when you start with them, and then you start recommending them, and then they get overloaded, and then they're not giving you any service anymore because they've overloaded themselves. My CPA has promised me that he has a limit to the amount of business that he does, not primarily out of respect for me, but because he wants to have his own life and live at his own pace. So I will recommend you to my guy and he won't take you if he's full, but if clients die, clients sell their businesses and retire, and so from time to time he needs to replace clients. So I'll write down your phone number here, and I'll send you a text, and you can check with him and see. I don't know where he's at. You can ask him.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Oh, and one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So I was listening to this guy, John Jackson, about lease options. And
yes, sir.
One of the podcasts, I heard your name thrown out there, like you recommended his program, and I wanted to ask you about it. Is that something like an option that you can present if somebody doesn't want to do an owner finance transaction? And is that have you done that, or is that something that you would recommend?
I don't prefer the strategy myself, but if someone wants to use that strategy, like there's a lot of states that don't have the same laws as Texas, and it's very difficult to sell or finance a house because if you ever have to take it back, it's very difficult to get the house back. And in some cases in those states, lease options work better than selling on a note and deed of trust. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
the answer is I don't do it because it's not my strategy of choice, and I live in a state where I don't need to do it. But if you're going to do it, he knows a lot about that. It's probably as good as anybody. And so if you're going to do it, yeah, I recommend him. Do I recommend that strategy? Not to everyone, because not everyone needs to use it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So you're in Houston though. You're in Texas, right?
I was in I was in Houston for the past 13 years. But,
Oh, you're in Dallas.
But now I'm in Dallas. So yeah.
But you're still in Texas. But you know what?
Yes.
It doesn't hurt to go learn that man's theories. I mean, if you pay for a class or you pay for a course, because every tool that you learn how to use can sometimes have a place even in Texas. You know what I mean? There's situations where you go,
Yes.
for this situation, I think lease option is better. And it also, it might be better if you're taking houses subject to, which means you got, an underlying lien from a major bank like Bank of America or Wells Fargo, and you don't want to wrap that thing with a mortgage and deed of trust because you put yourself in a different position than if you just do a lease with an option to buy and they have to go get a new loan within a certain amount of years and get rid of that note that you're really not supposed to assume. You see what I mean? There's a situation where you might want to use a lease option instead, even though you're in Texas. So, if you've mastered what you're doing now and you have enough bandwidth to learn a new strategy, then you'll listen to someone's other strategy because there's always room for tools in your tool belt. Doesn't mean you have to use them all the time.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for the insight. Yeah.
No problem. I appreciate you.
Thank you.